1170 KCBQ.
Hey, folks, Dave Stahl here. You're listening to the You Ought to Know show presented by Love Radio Network. And what we got coming up is It's All About the Car.
Wait till you see what they did to my car.
$200,000 on the LS6, $200,000.
Beep, 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 yeah. Beep, 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 yeah.
Pull out the 8-track and turn up the AM. It's time for It's All About the Car with me, Dan the Carman Jones, and the godfather of all things automotive, Dave Stahl.
The Godfather.
Absolutely the Godfather. Everybody knows Dave Stahl. He don't stall nothing. He just keeps it rolling, don't you, Dave?
Absolutely. Dan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm really happy.
Yeah,
Happy
you
to
know,
be
it's
here.
been a long time since we've been able to put these wires together, shall we say, to get a few sparks lit up in the automotive world, and we're glad to have you on board. And this is going to be a show. Hopefully we're going to be able to launch and give people out there a different kind of a view on the automotive world. And again, like the title, it's all about the car. Explain to them the format of the show.
It is all about the car. I've always been enthralled with people that just love their cars, that just say they wanted that particular car. They had to have that particular car. Maybe it was, something they had when they were in high school, or maybe it was something their buddy had when they were in high school, something like that. And then they found it and they babied it, they restored it, and most of the time they bring it up to winning trophies. They spend a lot of money on their cars.
And isn't it funny, though, that it's always your first car? Even if it's the ugliest, crappiest thing that ever rolled, you just have that, your heartstrings just pull for that first thing.
My first car was a 64 Barracuda, and I tell you, I want one now. I really do.
You let a 60... Hopefully it wasn't a fastback.
It was a fastback. Of course, 64. That was the first one with the big, long glass.
With that back window you cannot replace.
I know, you cannot replace that. My dad was such an old car buff. He was always buying old cars, and then they were just junk cars because they're like 12 years old. But at one time in high school, I had a 64 Barracuda, a 67 Caliente, and a 62 Bug. All three cars when I was in high school. I've been doing cars a long time.
Yeah, well, me too. So I understand exactly where you're coming. But, and you're absolutely right, and of course we got to be careful with our governmental institutions. They'd like to see nothing better than to crush every one of them.
Oh, yes, they do. That 1975 cutoff really hurt me because I got a few cars I was hoping were going to be out of that smog inspection.
Yeah, and we all keep...
They always pass it.
I know. It's crazy.
Okay, let's talk about today's show.
Yeah, what do you got?
Today's show, we're going to talk about the original, well, maybe not the original, but one of the killer hot rod conglomerations of all time, the DeTomaso Pantera.
There we go.
If you don't know what a DeTomaso Pantera is, in 1971, you might have wandered into the Lincoln Mercury dealership, and this is what you would have found.
The Continental symbol, hallmark of a new concept in fine cars. Lincoln Continental.
In 1971, the average visitor to the local Lincoln Mercury dealer was likely pretty shocked to find the new DeTomaso Pantera hunkered down among the Continentals, the Comets, and the Cougars. It wasn't that the Lincoln Mercury dealerships weren't used to having plenty of maximum muscle to choose from. This was, after all, 1971, the last hurrah of the muscle car era. High horsepower was pretty much expected. It was that this was muscle in a whole different wrapper. Long, low, and looking anything but slow, the Pantera screamed European exotic. And European it was. At least it was European by birth. The Pantera hailed from the northern Italian city of Modena, but the company was actually owned by Alejandro DeTomaso, an Argentine-born former ex-racer turned automotive entrepreneur. The Pantera owes its oh-so-Italian drop-dead good looks to the American-born designer Tom Tajarda. His full name was Stevens Thompson Tajarda von Starkenberg, and he sailed straight from the Motor City into some of Europe's most prestigious automotive houses of design. In addition to the DeTomaso Pantera and a few dozen other cars, both famous and obscure, he also created the Fiat 124 Spider, the Ferrari 365 GT California, and the Mercedes 230 SL Coupe. Now, being a muscle car aficionado, upon closer inspection, our 1971 shopper might soon realize why this Italian beauty was at this particular dealership. It wasn't hard to ID the mostly exposed all-American 351 Cleveland V8. Only this example of prime Detroit muscle inhaled its mighty gulps just inches behind the let's get down to business two-seat passenger compartment. The black leather buckets faced a no-nonsense dashboard with a speedo that pegged at 200 miles per hour, an attack that redlined at almost 6,000 RPM. A full array of individual instrumentation started at the dashboard and spilled all the way down to the chrome-plated shifter gate. The overall impression of this driver-centric cockpit left no doubts that the Pantera was designed with speed in mind. But this was no stripped-down, barely street-legal boulevard bruiser. The Pantera, on the surface at least, was a refined Italian import, with luxury features like electric windows and even air conditioning. Engineering refinements included power-assisted four-wheel disc brakes, rack and pinion steering, and magnesium wheels. Now, all of this high-end engineering, American-level luxury, and a drop-dead Italian profile were available for the then heady price of about $10,295, which was about 10% more than the cost of that new Mark III parked right next to it, and about 4 times the cost of that other new for 1971 Mercury-branded import, the German-made Capri. But this really is comparing apples to oranges. Perhaps a more accurate comparison was across town at the local Chevy dealer where the base model C3 Corvette boasted a sticker price of $5,498, although it only took a few checks on the option list to bring it up to parity, especially if you clicked on the ZR1 or the LS6 options. It was easy to add another $1,000 or $2 to your new Corvette. Now, even though the Pantera was undeniably pricey, at least compared to other American V8-powered cars, the build quality was spotty at best, especially in that first year of production, 1971. A total of 1,007 Panteras reached the U.S. during that first year, and even when compared to the notorious quality control that was coming out of Detroit, these cars were quite obviously just a bit rushed. Several of the first, supposedly finished and ready-to-sell models even broke down on Ford's own test track. Elvis Presley once got so angry with his Pantera for not starting, he pulled a gun and shot it. In the 1972 model year, Ford followed suit with the rest of the U.S. auto industry and required that the Pantera's mighty 351 Cleveland have its compression ratio lowered from 11:1 to 8.5:1. This lowered the horsepower quite a bit, but perhaps in a bit of compensation, the Pantera L for luxury was also introduced that year, although most enthusiasts didn't think that the huge new black bumpers were very luxurious. 1974 saw the introduction of the Pantera GTS, featuring a few more little luxury items and some new badging to compensate for the steady decline in horsepower, which was now down to a mere 248 from the 1971 rating of 330. Ford ended their importation of the DeTomaso Pantera in 1975 after having sold roughly 5,500 cars. Today, the DeTomaso Pantera is a highly sought-after semi-exotic. Modifications to the car are more the rule than the exception, with pristine, factory-stock examples being extremely hard to find and, strangely enough, not worth a very high premium over a well-sorted-out, resto-modded example. This is testament to the fact that Pantera owners don't buy their cars for investments, they buy their cars to drive. Today, a nice Pantera with relatively modest modifications can be found in the $50,000 range. For highly modified examples with state-of-the-art power plants and race-ready suspension, the sky is literally the limit. Today's guest, Kevin Reinecker, has a 1973 DeTomaso Pantera that's a pretty far cry from a factory original, and in a lot more ways than just one.
Actually got that right.
Yeah,
that was a lot of info. That's a very interesting car. Very interesting.
But I have to say before we go to Kevin, I mean one of the downfalls for that car was getting the car in the correct gear due to the gates. And that music that almost fit. I can't get in gear. Hey.
Well, he'll tell us. There's a lot of things people do with.
Well,
Panteras.
you had to fix them. You just had to fix them.
That's why there's no original ones
That's
left.
right. But hey, Kevin, how you doing?
Great. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh no, we're glad you took time out of the day.
This the intro there,
wasn't it? Yeah. Well, wasn't that one of the little niches about that thing? Just try to get your transmission in the right gate at the right gear at the right time.
Oh yeah, and I still deal with it. You kind of have to angle your arm and do a little swivelly thing, and then you kind of pop it right in.
And you have to hold your mouth in the right position.
Hey, before we go any farther, what I would like to offer to you is KUSI coverage of the Pantera Club anytime you want it. It's totally free, and I'm telling you, the exposure, if you're doing something charity-wise, real short, did a motorcycle deal, 500 bikes was all they had. I bumped it to 4,000 by coming to my show, so it's free. It doesn't cost you anything.
Well, fantastic. Well, we'll take you up on that. We have done some charity events in the past. We've got some things coming up.
Yeah, let me know.
And,
give me a heads up on it. I'll put you on TV, and you'll love it.
We'll be talking with Kevin about all kinds of Pantera Club stuff when we get back from the break.
If you want my mug on TV.
Oh, I don't know.
So
Dave's on TV. Come on.
Yeah, what the heck? Anybody, as long as the FBI's not looking for you, you're good to go. We still got a couple of minutes. Did you want to ask him a couple of questions before we rolled out?
Kevin, tell us about how you found your car.
Why did you even want it?
Oh, he's wanted. Kevin's a hot. Kevin.
Yeah, no, I always wanted one. It was the
Kevin's a hot
car
rod.
that I used to draw on my desk in math class.
Now, okay, how old are you?
Mercury dealership.
How old are you?
Oh, how old am I now?
Yeah.
Or how old?
Well, because we got to kind of put this in perspective. Of course, you had to be what, in your teens?
Well, Oh yeah. I couldn't drive then. The brand new '73 Pantera was sitting there with the nice big black bumpers.
Yeah.
Absolutely, gotta love them.
At the Lincoln Mercury dealership that I would ride my bike by every day, and I'm gonna own that car someday. I'm gonna have one of those someday.
See, I tell you, it's those cars that you always wanted that come back and bite you. You got to have it.
Yeah, well, I've had my Elvis moments with my car too. Like put a shotgun through it, or drive it off a cliff, or actually not pay for any more parts on it. But,
an interesting thing about Kevin is you were talking about people who engineer stuff and get in there and wrench. Kevin actually has a patent or two on different automotive contraptions.
In relationship to the Pantera?
No, I don't think so.
No. Yeah, and actually some of them are getting kind of old, but I still live here in San Diego and Mira Mesa, so I didn't make a lot of money off those. And I still drive a Pantera, so obviously.
There's not a lot of people out there driving Pantera, so you're doing good.
Kevin also has an AMX. That's the kind of guy he is. Yeah.
No. I like people like that. In fact, did you know that there's a club in town called the Yellow Club? Everybody that's in the club has a yellow car.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to get them on KUSI, too.
Well, there you go. You got to have that.
Hey, let's
a
go.
couple yellow cars in our club.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a short break, and then when we come back, we do have a special guest. I'm going to have him come on, Mickey Jones. And folks, if you're not familiar with Mickey Jones, then you're living someplace out in the woods. This is, I can't even say it there. You're listening to the You Ought to Know Show presented by Love Radio, and this is All About the Car with Dan the Car Man. We'll be back in a moment with our special guest, Mickey Jones.
Wound it up to 110. My speedometer said that I hit top end. My foot was blue, like lead to the floor. That's all there is, and there ain't no more.
The following is the real owner of Carmel Valley Collision Center. Everything you hear is true and honest. This is not just some Joe Schmo we hired to say these words for this man.
Give me the mic. Hi, I'm Jim Richardson, the owner of
Intelligent Talk, 1170 KCBQ.
And online at kcbq.com.
All right, folks. Hey, welcome back. You're listening to The You Ought to Know Show presented by Love Radio Network, and this is a brand new segment. It is all about the car with my man Dan. He is the car guy. We're going to get back to Keith here in a moment, but we want to bring Mickey Jones on. Mickey, anytime Mickey comes on, he's always got a lot of good news for the San Diego gearhead out there, especially the NASCAR fans. Mickey, how are you doing tonight?
I am rocking, Dave Stahl. How are you, my brother?
I am doing just wonderful. How are you?
You got it, boss. I'm there.
Set your alarm. That's Mickey Jones, folks. We'll be back. We'll be back with him shortly. Hey, let's go back to our good buddy Kevin. Sorry about that, Kevin, but Mickey Jones had to tell us about Vegas.
No problem. I wish I had a nickname like some of the people that he was mentioning there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you ever watched Tool Time, he was the one of the maintenance guys on Tool Time. Plus, he's done all the biker movies, a long scraggly beard. But he's also
the big burly guy with the beard.
Plus, he's probably one of the finest drummers that ever walked this earth. But going back to the Pantera, now you said you rode by it when you were a kid. Now, how long did it take from the time you rode by it as a kid? Were you able to buy it?
30 years?
Yeah, that's about it.
12 years, something like that. Actually, I've had the car now for about 12 years, 13 years. As old as my youngest kid.
So what kind of condition was it?
My wife gets a kid, I get the car.
There you go.
That's a good deal.
Classic.
What kind of condition was it in when you got it? Pristine?
It was in good condition.
Oh,
It needed some little tweaking here and there, but I basically bought it, and I threw an old nitrous kit on it, and then started racing it. I was doing those 8-mile drags down at Qualcomm.
Oh, yeah.
Within, a couple days of buying the car, actually. And it's kind of gone through some changes. The paint is getting up on it had been restored, a couple years before I bought it.
Kevin, let me break in for just a second. If people go to it'sallaboutthecar.com and go to the photo gallery, they can see pictures of your car.
Oh, okay, good.
So they can see what you're talking about. And it is a gorgeous car.
What color is it?
Bright red.
Oh,
Arrest me red.
Arrest me red. Yeah, that would work.
Now, Kevin, you're not running the same engine that you originally got.
No,
that you strapped
I
the
blew
nitrous
up
to.
Cleveland,
I know you did.
4 or 5 years ago. And it's got a Windsor motor in it now. It's a Windsor Stroker motor.
But Kevin, I got to ask a question. And Dan mentioned it off air, and I was kind of taken back by it. It seems to be a trend if you watch Barrett Jackson. But originality always used to would draw more dollars than a modified but like Dan was saying, it's the opposite with the Pantera. It's almost. I mean, if you had one that was totally bone stock and never been touched, you're not going to get as much money for it if it had been, upgraded, shall we say? Why is that?
Well, I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's a couple guys that have sold cars that are 100-pointer Concours, beautiful, only 3,000 original miles on the car, original battery, original rubber. Some of those cars go for some pretty big money. It's there are still a lot of original cars that win awards that have just slight modifications, usually upgraded fans, usually things that are upgraded to the point where it makes the car drivable. Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna have you hang on. I'm gonna have you slide over into the You Ought to Know show since Mickey came in and stole your thunder. So you stay right there.
You don't want me in the You Ought to Know show.
Oh, come on. You ought to know. Come on, you ought to know. It's the way that rolls, dude. Hey, folks, we're going to go ahead and take a break. You've been listening to It's All About the Car on the Love Radio Network. And this is the You Ought to Know shows from 7 till 10. Stay tuned. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more Pantera right there on the You Ought to Know show.
The lines on the road just look like that.
All right, folks. Hey, this is the You Ought to Know show. This is the Love Radio, presented by the Love Radio Network. You're listening to You Ought to Know show. This segment is brought to you by the good folks at C&G Early Ford Parts. Give these guys a call, 760-740-2400, or go to CG Ford Parts for all your parts. Cody is downstairs. He's going to work his way up. Hey, we're going to finish up with Keith. And
Kevin.
Kevin, I'm sorry. And I got a very special guest, Daryl Harrison from Volkswagen on the line. So let's go right back to Kevin. Kevin, for folks out there that maybe have a Pantera, want a Pantera, didn't know that Panteras were available, What's a good club address that they could find out more about you guys?
Go to SanDiegoPanteras.com.
Wow, that was
and
easy.
You'll get all the info that you need. We have a lot of club events. We have a real tight-knit group of guys. We hang with the Ford guys and the Cobra guys, of course. But
no girls? No girl drivers?
Yeah, the wives are involved, sure.
Yeah, come on, you're going to get in trouble. You're on air. You got to bring them both.
Oh, this is live?
Absolutely.
Kevin, tell us about some of those events you're talking about. Give us some details.
Well, we have one coming up. It's the big Pantera event in Arizona. It's put on by the Pantera Owners Club of America, POCA, and it's in Phoenix, Arizona. There'll probably be 1,000 members there, at least 100 cars. Well, 50 to 100 cars. There's a track event. It goes on for 3-4 days, and that's in May. And we also have a poker run coming up that's not really a Pantera poker run. We've done them in the past, and this one is you can find information on our site, but it's also for a fundraiser for the Ronald McDonald House, and you can actually get more information at rmhpokerride.com. Last year we did, or actually 2 years ago, we did a big fundraiser for the Wounded Warriors. And it was also a poker run that we run out in the back country. We do the La Jolla show. We had a couple cars. We always have a couple cars there.
Right.
And you always have a bunch of cars at the Speed Fest. You guys invited me out there you fired them all up at one time. It was like rolling thunder.
Pure heaven. Hey, go ahead, give us
I was actually getting to the Speed Fest and also Cruisin' Grand.
Right.
We always have a big showing at Cruisin' Grand. We had 22 cars there, I think, last year, and we'll have at least that many there this year. And then we're the only knuckleheads that fire them all up at the same time.
All right, man. Hey, I really want to thank you for hanging on for a little bit. I know we kind of went over on the last show, and the best way to get a hold of me is just go to davestahl.com, STALL.com. Give me some dates, and I'll give you some dates and see if we can't get the Panteras down on KUSI and get some people to figure out who you guys are.
Love it.
All right, buddy.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure, gentlemen.
Hey, look forward to having you back.
Kevin, thanks for being on the show.
All right, buddy.
You.
Hey, let's go to Daryl Harrison from Volkswagen. Hey, Daryl, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Well, just waiting for a Volkswagen. You know how
Isn't everyone?
I'm telling you, I am waiting for a Volkswagen. I'm telling you,